Many times people on the shidduchim scene and so on, especially if they have maybe a little longer relationship, they split. It just doesn't work and they split. And sometimes when people get married, they're divorced. They move on. Many times you hear from people, oh, you need to get back on the horse. It's like falling off the horse, you need to get it back up. You have to diet immediately. And I don't really agree with that. When you separate from someone, that separation is not only limited to the individual himself or herself. Also, it includes a separation from parts of the personality, and you came to like and even don't like. Still you're going through this. Sometimes you don't like something and it has such an effect on you. And I think the way to recovery should go and should be applied through admitting the mistakes that were made in that relationship and with the willingness to actually fix them. Yes, it's even in shidduchim. Let's say you go with someone, 5, 6, 7 times, 8 times, more than that, and then all of a sudden you split. Needless to say, when you go on longer shidduchim, it becomes more true. And let's admit it, today most people don't marry the first person they date. They don't. But regardless of that separation, unless something is really dead inside of you, that separation brings about, and again, the longer you date, brings about pain, and sometimes even the sense of rejection that the person says, I don't want to date you anymore, we're just breaking out, and something that not always disappears immediately. That's why one should do a lot of research on the individual in which they're about to date before they say yes to date him or her. Today it's very easy. I think a part of what so-called the shidduch crisis is that lack of seriousness that people have regarding shidduchim. It's like they're not serious about this. So, and many times those mistakes and those feelings, needless to say the mistakes, but the feelings are carried over to the next relationship, that there has to be a certain time of cooling off, because, you're never going to come out of it. There are certain relationship that the expectation that we started those relationships with the expectation to overcome pain that we had in previous relationship or feelings that we had in previous relationship. And what happens is that in a case like this, the person you go out with is basically a ghost, becomes a ghost person, because he's not there, and yet the ghost of the other person is still lingering around. So basically, you're dating ghosts all the time. And many times, you would compare a certain person to another person, and so even they might even gotten married and got on with their lives, but you are still being affected by this person that you dated beforehand, and which is very, very difficult, because we can't disconnect from the ex, from the other person, and therefore many times that person keeps on playing a role in our lives through memories, fantasies, thoughts, and so on and so forth. But we have to always remember and realize that those memories and thoughts are very selective and they're very deceiving. We always try to forget that the other person, that relationship had ended, and we say, oh, this is really like this guy, and this is really like the other person, and she's like this one. And therefore, when there is a separation, one should see it as an opportunity, even though it's painful, but an opportunity which leads you to growth. In our time, especially in the frum world, the dating scene, one of the reasons it became so superficial and non-effective is because we say certain ages are criteria for success or failure. Oh my goodness, I'm 23 years old, I'm not married, I'm an old maiden, I'm never going to get married. This is nonsense. Nonsense. Well, I'm a 26-year-old guy, I have to get married, my parents have an expectation. Well, the parents have expectation, let them drink cool water and move on. You know, maybe they should have provided you with better tools to make a decision. But we're going with this one, we're going with the other one, we're going with this one, and we can't make a decision, and everything falls apart, and so on and so forth. And therefore we can't. So we're just going to go on a date to quiet down that voice inside of us. Oh, I'm not dating. Oh my God, I'm not dating. And therefore we go on meaningless dates that has no point whatsoever. And if we already had a relationship that we really like, but maybe the other person didn't like us, all of a sudden everyone becomes a psychologist and they know what to do and they give you the psychological advices and everybody is like a little Piaget there and whatever they are and they're doing therapy to you and they know what to do, and instead of saying, listen, just wait, sit down, sit on the bleachers for a while, don't wait. Well, my time is ticking. It says time is ticking, it's fine. Let time tick. It's time is a healer. So if you had a relationship that was painful, do not date. Just learn how to deal with the emotions that you had yourself. Don't date immediately. It's not fair to the other person that you're dating because you don't really mean to date, and it's not fair to you because you didn't learn to disconnect. So until then, have a good day.